4 stories, 4 different people, different countries, and different situations. How are their events related to each other, and how do they affect each other? Today we are going to recap a drama movie from 2006, titled Babel. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. Let's start with the first story. Abdullah is a shepherd, who lives in the desert of Morocco. With the help of these sheep and goats, he feeds his family of 5 members. To protect his goats and sheep from wolves, he decides to purchase a rifle from his friend Hassan. Hassan teaches both sons of Abdullah, Yusuf and Ahmed, how to use guns. He tells them that it can target up to a distance of 3 kilometers. Now the argument started on who can shoot better among the 2 brothers. In turn, both start aiming here and there, but they are unable to hit a single target. They think that this gun is useless. Then they see a bus coming from a distance, and they start aiming at it. After firing once or twice, suddenly, the bus stopped in the middle of the road and both run away in fear. Second story, in a city in America, Amelia takes care of 5-year-old Mike and 8-year-old Debbie. She picks up the phone. On the other side, the owner of the house, Richard, said that Susan is hurt, and she is in the operating theater. Amelia will have to stay for a few more days and take care of them. Of course, Amelia doesn't mind this, but tomorrow is her son's wedding. All the preparations have been completed. And as decided, if Richard and Susan come back, she would have 2 days off from tomorrow. She tries to explain to the owner in his own way, but he is in no condition to listen. He doesn't have any relatives in the city. Amelia has taken care of those children since birth. Finally, Amelia decided that she would take the children along to attend her son's wedding. In the morning, his nephew Santiago comes to take them in his car. Amelia's home is in Mexico, which requires them to go through border security. Well, there has been no problem while leaving and they reached on time. After the whole event is over, Amelia asks Santiago to drop them back to America. He is a little drunk but still decides to drive the car. As soon as the car reaches the US border, the police officer realizes that he is drunk, and they have 2 American children with them. He checked all ID proofs and passport of Amelia. But she doesn't have a permission letter from Mike and Debbie's parents, and they are not allowed to cross the border. Seeing all this going on, a slight tussle between Santiago and the policeman started, and he broke the barricade and drove away. Both the children and Amelia sitting in the car get very scared. The police start chasing them. He realizes that they are still chasing, so he decides to leave the main road. He drops them in the middle of the desert and said, "I am coming back in a few minutes, wait for me." Amelia tries to convince him a lot but to no avail. Now all they can do is wait for his return. In the third story, Richard and Susan take a break from domestic responsibilities to visit Morocco. They want to give their married life another chance. Their relationship took a different path after the death of their 3rd child at birth. They are passing through the beautiful valleys in a tourist bus. Suddenly, a bullet hits Susan's shoulder. At first, no one understands anything. Then Richard and all passengers realize that she got hit by a bullet. Suzanne is badly injured. This bullet was fired from the gun of Yusuf and Ahmed. She is immediately taken to the nearby village of their guide. There is no hospital in this village and it is also located 3 kilometers from the main highway. Richard calls Suzanne's sister and tells her to inform the US ambassador that a tourist has been shot and send an ambulance quickly. But medical help needs time to arrive at that location. Most of the people on the bus are not able to bear the heat of this place due to their old age. The air conditioner also not working because of less fuel. Fourth story, in Japan, Chiku is an 18-year-old high school student. She belongs to special children. She cannot hear or speak and goes to a school with children of her kind. A few months ago, her mother committed suicide, and since then, both father and daughter are not able to make a strong bond. Her mother was very close to her, and she misses her so much. No matter how happy she tries to look from the outside, she is very lonely from the inside. Also, her father stays away for months on business. After ending the day with her fake smile when she returns home in the evening. At the reception, 2 policemen are asking about her father. The security person directs them to Chiku. They want to meet her father. Due to the suicide of her mother, the police keep harassing her father for questioning again and again. She tells them, "We haven't talked for a few days, I don't know when he will come." The police officer left after giving him his number. Chiku is alone at home watching TV. There is news of a terrorist attack on a tourist bus in Morocco. With this, the story begins back in Morocco. After that day, they got very scared and hid that gun in a stone cave far away from their home. When Abdullah comes home at night, he informs his family that an American tourist had been shot. Both the brothers are looking at each other. The police of that entire area of Morocco come into action. There is an international debate that terrorists are still present in Morocco, and the Moroccan government is denying it. Police officer Al-Farid is in charge of this investigation. After inspecting the entire area, he finds some bullet shells in many parts of the hill where the incident took place. He also finds evidence of urine and feces of sheep and goats. After asking many people, he reaches Hassan Ibrahim's house and he is arrested for firing. Hassan begs and says that I did not shoot, although I received that gun from a Japanese tourist as a gift, which I sold yesterday to Abdullah. Now Al-Farid leaves for Abdullah's house. Here Abdullah is sending his 2 sons to the market to sell goat skins. Both of them get scared when the police vehicle arrives there. When Al-Farid asks them about the address of Abdullah's house, they tell him the wrong address. Then Yusuf and Ahmed arrive home and tell everything to their father. He beat them both a lot. What have you done? What will you do now? Where will you go? The police would be reaching here at any time. In panic, the poor people decide to run away from there. But the police notice them running away. They hid behind the stones. Seeing that they have a gun, the police start shooting at them. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Yusuf's leg. Seeing this, in a fit of anger, Ahmed made the mistake of firing at the police and an officer gets injured. Abdullah is watching his son dying in his arms. Ahmed is also there. He breaks the gun and throws it away. He surrenders in front of the police, saying he is the one who fired at the bus. He begs for his brother's life. Al-Farid stands in shock seeing him. He is not a terrorist, he is a common shepherd. Then the story returns to Japan. Chiku arrives home late at night. She gives the number of the police officer to security and tells him to call the officer, indicating that she wants to tell something about her mother to the police. The police officer comes to her house. She informs him, "That day my mother committed suicide by jumping from this balcony. My father was sleeping inside and he is innocent. I saw the incident from my eyes and not told anyone." The officer tells her that he came here because of an incident related to Morocco. Then Chiku goes inside to make a cup of tea for the officer, but she comes there without clothes. Officer is in shock and asks her what is wrong with her. Chiku begins seducing him and he tries his best to control himself. He tells her that you are just a teenager, why are you doing all this? Then Chiku starts to cry and scream for her mistake. The officer now understands that she is very lonely and she wants someone to spend time with her. She wants someone who cares about her. She doesn't want to do this, she is just showing that she needs someone's company. The officer covers her body with his coat and talks to her. On the border of Mexico and America, after waiting all night, Amelia is in the middle of the desert with the children without water and food. Debbie has fainted due to weakness. Then Amelia tells Mark to stay close to your sister and leave her alone. Poor 5-year-old Mark started crying. Amelia walks under the scorching sun until she reaches the main road, where she sees a police car. But the officer immediately arrested her upon seeing her. They start the search operation in the desert. She is accused of child kidnapping. Amelia inquires the officer about the children. He informs her that the rescue team found them and they are in good hands. After a dark night in the village, there is a glimmer of hope for Richard and Susan. A helicopter arrived there from the U.S. Embassy to rescue them in the morning. They reach the city and immediately she is admitted to a good hospital. From the hospital, Richard calls Amelia for the first time and asked her to take care of the children for a few more days. In Japan, the officer comes down from Chiku's house. He meets her father in the lobby. The officer asks him about the rifle, which is used to shoot an American tourist in Morocco. Chiku's father replies, "Yes, I gave my own hunting gun to Hassan Ibrahim as a gift, while returning from there. Hassan is a good man and he took good care of me there as a guide." The officer asks him to come to the police station in the morning for some formalities. In America, it is found that Amelia is a Mexican woman, who has been living in America illegally for the past several years. On top of that, she's accused of kidnapping American children. Amelia tries to explain that she's only doing a job here, and she knows the children when they are little. But the officer replies that it would be better if you accept volunteer deportation, Because Mr. Richard has dropped all charges against you. So now she has to go back to Mexico. Amelia is thankful to Mr. Richard for letting her go. Susan is also out of danger. In Japan, the officer feels sorry for Chiku's mother's death. He tells her father that Chiku told him everything about his wife's suicide from the balcony. Mr. Wataya replies that his wife killed herself by shooting herself with his pistol. She was a victim of loneliness. When he enters the house, he finds Chiku standing in front of the balcony without clothes. This means Chiku did not tell the story of her mother's suicide to the officer, but she was about to commit suicide. Mr. Wataya arrives on time that day. He would have lost his daughter as well, like his wife. Father and daughter hug each other for the first time after Chiku's mother death. So this was the story of the film Babel, released in 2006. If you liked the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.